Robert Milligan was a Scottish merchant and slave owner. His statue stands at West India Quay outside of the museum, London Docks. Russia Nelson stands at Trafalgar Square. Sir John Cass helped to establish slave trade deals across the Atlantic with slave agents in the African ports and Caribbean. His statue stands on Jerry Street, London. William Beckford was a slave owner and politician, and his statue stands in the Guildhall in London. Sir Henry de la Beche, he owned plantations in Jamaica where slaves were used. Hello beautiful people, I am back with current affairs, and we are going to be discussing the statues at the moment that are racially correlated, and people are protesting, and there is a debate whether they should be coming down or not. And I've been taking a little bit of interest in this, and this is my opinion, so stay tuned, keep watching, like, comment and subscribe. Now, there are, I believe, around 60 targeted statues at the moment that have been in debate whether they should come down or not. Some statues are being voluntarily taken down, and some statues have just been torn down. This has been in discussion like everywhere. Some people feel like this was in the past, this is part of the history of our country, you know, why should it be taken down? It doesn't mean that this is what we are living at the moment, it's just historic. There is this debate that it's not something that when you're talking about slavery, it's not something that was chosen. A lot of people had to suffer for. Now, for you as a white person looking at that statue and knowing the history of that statue, you might not feel, you know, the pain, or you might not have to relive any of that because you've not had to go through it. Even though as a black person our ancestors went through it more than somebody who is born today in 2020, or even like myself, you know, born 30 years ago. However, still as black people, it is still a ripple effect. We are still a minority. There is still an injustice. We are still treated differently as black people. We are not seen as equal as white people. And walking down the street and looking at that statue, you know, it might actually bring back a lot of pain. Not only that I am still facing, or my son is still going to face, or my daughter's going to face, but also what my ancestors went through. And you know, during the Black Lives Matter movement, it's not only been a learning curve for white people, but also for ourselves as black people. You know, we are educating ourselves. I think there has been a paradigm shift on all levels for us as black people. Now walking down the street or walking down the city centre, you know, having a look at the statue, I'm going to go on my phone, I'm going to be like, oh, what's this statue done for? Oh, what's this statue done for? And imagine living in a town where there are about 2, 3, about 3, 4, 5 statues elevated, you know, seen as this heroic person that was known during slave trade and did all of these things, and you know, and was a massive part of slave trade being erected in my town, in my city. I'm definitely going to be angered by it. I'm going to be moved by it. I'm going to be like, well, I think if we are living in a modern day England, or we are living in a modern day world where there is equality, and you want to certify equality, then surely that should be taken down. To be honest, I don't have a problem with it all being put into a museum. Put them all in the museum if you want, but I definitely do feel like if I was to lean on one side, I would definitely lean on the side that, yeah, take them down. Like, just take them down, you know. You can't preach something and not follow up and not act on it, you know. Yes, we need to see law changes, regulation changes, and yes, do something, you know, actually implement what you are saying. You know, if as a prime minister you are saying that we are the most equal country, or we are the most non-racist country in the world, then show that. You know, why don't you actually prove that there is equality? You know, put more black people in your government, take down these racial statues, and actually do more things that will make black people feel like they are inclusive, they are included, and they are heard, and they are important. So yeah, so that's kind of where I stand on it. At the moment, they are still going down. On Sunday, protesters in Bristol pulled down the controversial statue of slave trader Edward Colston and threw it in the harbour. So we have names such as Lord Kitchener, Sir Robert Peel, King James II, and King Charles II have all been listed as a toppled and the racist website. I'm just going to have a look at some of the statues that are being targeted at the moment. So we have Cecil Rhodes. So Cecil Rhodes was a former Prime Minister of the Cape Colony who was a British supremacist. So what he done was he colonized much of South Africa for a Victorian Britain. So Rhodes believed that the British were the first race in the world, and that the more of the world we inhabit, the better it is for the human race. He secured control of what we call Zimbabwe and Zambia today, and showed scant regard for his African employees who he's dismissed as niggers. Next we have Robert Milligan. Robert Milligan was a Scottish merchant and slave owner. So this man was born in Scotland, but then he later moved to Jamaica, and then he ended up managing wealthy families' sugar plantation. He used slaves to amass great wealth through trade, and he was very vocal in opposing the end of the slave trade. Next we have Horatio Nelson. Some did believe that Nelson was a white supremacist. He had tight friendship with West Indian slave traders. Sir Robert Peel. Now people are in two minds about removing his statues. Several petitions have been started by locals in Manchester, both to keep and to remove his statues. So he did serve twice as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and is regarded as the father of modern British policing, having founded the Metropolitan Police Service. He also is the founder of the Conservative Party. Black Lives Matter activists have targeted statues of the former Prime Minister due to his father's involvement with slave trade. Obviously people are in two minds. It's his father, and obviously, you know, do we take him down or do we keep him up? So there are quite a few statues. Like I said, there are about 60 targeted statues at the moment that has racial correlations, and you know, people are in two minds. Some see them as heroes and some see them as racist. I guess it depends on the level of impact and meaning it carries to you. Again, I think if it's not something that you have ever experienced, or if it's not something that you will ever experience, it's kind of hard for you to understand or relate to. I know here in the UK it's very historic, you know, especially here where I live, it's a very historical town, and I guess, you know, these statues mean things to people. But if it's gonna be if it was erected because this person did a great thing in the slave trade and in the slave days, and you know, they did all of that stuff, then I think take it down. Just take it down. That's my opinion. I don't know, what is your opinion? What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment below, and let's keep talking about this. There is definitely change, and I will keep saying it. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please do like, comment and subscribe. Take care. Bye bye.